Now it's time for T's Corner, exclusively on SoundCloud.
What's up, good people, and welcome back to T's Corner. I'm your host, T-Word, aka the People's Champ. So happy to be back. Finally got over that nasty illness. What I thought was strep throat actually ended up being the flu. So it shut me down a little bit longer than expected. So unfortunately, I was unable to come through and deliver some quality content over the weekend. That's all fine and good. I will get you guys back next week. So that means for the next 7 days, you're going to hear from your boy T-Word with topics ranging from NFL, NBA, specifically the New Orleans Pelicans, as well as the New Orleans Saints. And I'll talk about some other social commentary in regards to player visits to the White House and stuff like that. So we're going to have a nice full week. Plus, since I come in daily, we'll get to update some of the major marquee moves and matchups in the NBA and just sports in general, so you get to hear my opinion on a daily basis about different things. I want to bring in a couple of special guests this week for the T's Corner podcast, and I probably even have Lex Hodges come on because we were going to talk about the NFL Hall of Fame, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and they just ran out of time on a quality talk show. So I do want to bring that into discussion and bring it into focus because over the next couple of years, there's going to be a log jam at a couple of positions, and some controversial guys will be coming up due to get on the ballot. So we want to see what's going to happen with them. So anyway, before we get started, I do want to let you know that the T's Corner podcast is still sponsored by Exquisite Hair Studios. They've been our longtime sponsor now for a few months, and we really, truly appreciate them. They're out of Houston, Texas, so feel free to check out their website. Or if you're in the Houston area, go check out their studio. It's really great. There's hairdressers, beauticians down there. They've got different types of hair products that you can purchase for male and female, so don't be shy. Stop on by and see if they can help you out. You got a bald spot coming in, go talk to those experts, see if they can get you back some growth. All right, so let's get right into the first topic of the show. I do want to talk about these White House visits, and I want to give more or less two perspectives, but also weigh in with my particular perspective. The first thing is something I saw and I heard on First Take. Skip Bayless, not First Take, Undisputed. Skip Bayless recommended that the team vote and everybody decide if either we're all going or we're all staying home. We shouldn't, get to pick and choose who's going to go. And I 100% disagree with that, and here's why. A few years ago, when the Patriots won their last Super Bowl, the sitting president was Tom Brady. The sitting president was Barack Obama. And Tom Brady felt slighted by some statements that were made by the Obama administration, or someone within his administration had released some pretty rough stuff about Tom Brady, and Brady decided not to go. He had some reason that escapes me at the moment, but he decided he just wasn't gonna show up. Okay, that's cool. Just as you've done your job to earn the right to be offered a trip to the White House, you have the right to turn that down. I think you should never be, your right to refuse an invitation should never be taken away. You shouldn't have to do anything of that nature. It's an invitation. It's not a demand. It's a request. So you have the right to deny that request. Okay. So if everybody was okay with that, a big deal wasn't made. For the most part, that lasted through the news cycle, maybe a couple of days, and then everybody's back to their jobs. And so now fast forward, the Patriots pull it off again. But now you have 6 Patriots players who are not willing to go to the White House and meet the new celebrity in charge, who's in office. They're refusing to go see him. 5 of them are African American, and 1 is a white player, Rob Ninkovich. I hadn't been able to find anything to say exactly why Rob isn't supporting him, and I'm not assuming that because he's a white male that he would automatically just roll with Trump. But I would like to know if he's taking a stance to support his brothers, or if he's actually just not in support of Trump, period, because of the type of person that he is. I haven't been able to exactly find him making statements on that, so I'm just a little bit curious, and maybe if I do a little bit more digging over the next couple of days, I'll get the information that I want to have to figure out exactly what his approach and what his reasoning is. For the other players, it's more than obvious, especially for Martellus Bennett. We knew that if the Patriots won the Super Bowl, there's no way he was going. He's already been very outspoken about players in the league, so there's no way he wasn't going to be outspoken about a polarizing figure like Donald Trump. So, in my opinion, I think that every team should have their own right to go or not go. I mean, it's not an obligation. It's a privilege, yes, but it's not an obligation. If you feel like you earn the right to be given an invitation and you decide to reject the invitation, you're well within your right. You may get to 50, 60 years old and regret not taking that chance because there's so many people that never get to make it under those circumstances. But hey, you are given that right to refuse, and I respect that. Now, I also want to spin that into something specific to the New Orleans Saints. Dante Hightower is one of the players who's not going to the White House. He's already stated that. And there are people within Who Dat Nation who more or less say, you know, if he's a free agent or if there's a way for us to get him from the Patriots, we shouldn't get him because of that. No, if we don't get him, it's going to be because he's not a good player or because he's a scheme player and he'll probably be terrible in New Orleans or something of that nature, which I doubt. I think he'd be really good. He's a defensive leader and he's got young enough legs to do some things that have been lacking since Vilma came, since Jonathan Vilma left. So I feel like he would be a good addition, and he's a good football player. I mean, he may want to splash plays in the Super Bowl, so why not? But if the sole reason is because he, is not going to the White House to see Donald Trump, I don't think that that's a valid reason. That'd be like saying, hey, well, Drew Brees is out and we need a quarterback today and Tom Brady's available, but we ain't going to take him because he didn't go to the White House. That just sounds, you have to be able to separate sports and politics fully in order to fully digest what's happening here. All we're seeing is athletes are more so taking a stand for things that they feel that they disagree with rather than being silent. We're experiencing a movement of social consciousness that hasn't been there, and we have to adapt with that. There's a lot of old school thinking that, well, if you think this way, then I don't want you on my team. Hey, you know what? That's like when you go to your job, you can't tell everybody that they need to be a certain type of religion. You could tell them how to dress at work. You could tell them they can't use profanity, but you can't tell them where to worship. You can't tell them how to vote in the upcoming elections. You can't tell them those things. So it's the same thing for the players on a team that you really have no control over. I don't want this guy on my team because he doesn't support Trump. You just don't know what that locker room looks like. The Saints locker room may be completely pro-Hillary. Who knows? It may completely be pro-Trump. Who knows? It doesn't even matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to the average fan what they believe. As long as you sell out to the team and you commit to giving the New Orleans Saints the best that you have, that's all that matters to me. So a player's political views and whether or not he goes to the White House when his team wins the Super Bowl don't really matter much to me. As long as you give your best as a football player, that's what really matters. So I'd like you guys to weigh in and tell me what you think. Do the players of your favorite teams' political views really matter to you in the grand scheme of things? Does it make you cheer for them any less on Sundays? I think what you do as a person will more than likely sour me on the player than, just heinous personal acts. If you're a jerk in public or you're disrespectful, especially to women or just people in general, I guess you would say, if you're that type of person, I'm probably not going to be real happy about you being on the team. I probably wouldn't cheer for you. Like Ahmad Brooks, he's a linebacker for the 49ers. And when he was with the Bengals, I believe he punched a lady out in Cincinnati, and then he got in another domestic dispute in San Francisco. This is the kind of guy I probably wouldn't cheer for if the Saints signed him, but I mean, he's on the Saints team. I'm not going to go out there and pick it in parade and say, hey, get rid of him. I mean, he deserves the right to work like everybody else. And if he went through the legal system and he paid his debt, whatever it might be, that has nothing to do with him doing his job. I would expect the same for the man who delivers my mail or picks up the trash or works on my car. You do your debt. I have nothing else to say about it. But what do you guys think? How much impact does somebody's personal things that they may or may not, that they may have done, impact whether or not you want to see them on the team? And do their political views or religious views actually matter to you? These are things that I consider from time to time. Some of them are more important to me than others, and I'd like to get your opinion. So feel free to leave it in the comments, and we'll get to discuss it a little bit more. I'll pop in and give my responses and stuff. You all kind of know where I stand. I want to know where you stand. So again, I do thank you for tuning in to T's Corner. I'm so happy to be back and over the flu. Again, you're going to give me 7 days straight. So keep those comments coming. So I keep the content coming. This is T's Corner Podcast, sponsored by Exquisite Hair Studios out of Houston, Texas. I am T Word, aka the People's Champ. Later, y'all. Peace.